Welcome to The Fence with your host, Mitch. And you may be wondering, where is Gar? Well, Gar had an injury. He actually tore not only his bicep, but his labrum. I don't know if you knew that. That's a new update. He just had surgery, and he is resting up. He was really sad he couldn't be here today. But on that note, we do have Lance Parker as our guest.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure.
Yes, we're both excited to be here. What is The Fence? Rather, welcome to The Fence with your host, Mitch. We are a podcast by personal trainers for those of you interested in maybe exercising for the first time or interested in getting started with strength training. It's our job to help get you off the fence and into the body you deserve. The topics we cover could help you with mobility, could help you gain muscle, could help you lose weight, could help you just develop more consistent routine in the gym or even at home. In a world full of influencers spreading misinformation for views, we're here to provide the truth. Okay, so in episode 7, this is episode 7.
Episode 7 already.
Episode 7 already. And we've been doing one a week pretty consistently. But we are planning to kind of go to a new format where we do shorter episodes, honing in on one particular topic in great depth, rather than trying to spread it out and cover a lot of content. So we may be upping our frequency with episode posting, but they will be shorter, more bite-sized episodes. Also, we have a good friend of mine, Brandon, over there. He's the man behind the man. Actually, the man behind the camera, and he's going to be getting some headshots for us today.
The man behind the man.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
You want a little plug?
At Brandon on Instagram.
Here, come give the plug.
Brandon, get over here. Come give a plug.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Bro, no. It's a plug means you plug your Instagram or some shit.
Instagram is the Weatherman. THE_WEATHA_man.
What do you do, Weatherman?
Daytime meteorologist. By night, photographer. Video guy. Drone guy. All the things. Guy.
It's everything. Hey, everyone. How are you?
Brandon is the guy. Sorry to put you on the spot there, buddy.
Yo, appreciate you.
So Lance is an up-and-coming personal trainer. How long have you been training now, Lance?
I've been training for a little over a year and a half now. Started as soon as I graduated high school in 2022.
That's beautiful. He's a young buck. So how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
20 years young.
Yep.
And I've seen Lance's transition from pre-certification until up to date, and the guy has grown a lot. The kid is really hungry, ambitious, and driven. And so he actually he's out on the verge of getting another certification, right?
Yeah, I'm 90.
What's that cert?
I'm like 95% done my bodybuilding and physique certification, which is something that I've been wanting to get for a while. It's actually something that Mitch got for me last May, and it's taken me a while to finish it, but the last couple months I really honed in on it and banged out 75% of it in the last 3 months, and I'm feeling really confident. Goes over how to prep bodybuilders and how to train for physique development and enhancement, and it's been one of the best and in-depth experiences and courses that I've taken so far.
That's awesome. And do they touch on nutrition, things of that nature?
Yeah,
or?
they go very in-deep with nutrition, like very in-depth. Like we go over refeeds and diet breaks, and it even goes over like cheat meals and how to strategically place cheat meals after and before competition.
And we don't claim to be a registered dietitian or nutritionist by any means. We also are not affiliated with any products we're going to talk about today. And we're also not saying, go get these now. But we are going to talk from personal past experience with our own experimentation, a little bit of scientific backed research, and maybe some things that we've seen our clients use and seen some success from as well.
100%.
And I guess I'll preface this with saying that supplements are exactly that, supplemental. So any of the products we talk about today are not meant to be a meal replacement. Mm-hmm. They're not meant to, one fix all. And no one of these things we're going to talk about, of these topics we're going to talk about, are going to magically transform your body.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Like they will have like a C in nutrition, a C in training, a B maybe in sleep, and then their
But an A+
supplementation.
in supplementation, they're spending hundreds of dollars
literally,
a
and
month.
they're wondering why they're not seeing any progress. And it all comes down to the root. Like, are you sleeping enough? Are you training well and efficiently? And are you eating well?
That's
Are you
great.
getting your protein and fiber, fruits, vegetables, all that?
Those are three, pretty good pillars. I think that we can all live by.
Okay, so usually I like to add. Let's start off with protein powder. So protein powder is a staple in my everyday diet. I like to start my morning off actually with a protein shake. So right now I'm on a fat loss phase, and what I currently do in the morning is I'll take a scoop of protein powder and I'll mix it in with some water, and that's how I start my day. I try to get one feeding of protein in as soon as I wake up, and that's just what I find most aligns with, muscle protein synthesis. Is you want to get at least like 4 to 5 servings of protein throughout the day, and I find waking up when I'm not very hungry at all to get a scoop of protein in just to align the timing with muscle protein synthesis is pretty important to do, and it's kind of just sets me up.
I would go further and say that's also a great way. If you are getting an appropriate amount of protein throughout the day, according to what your goals are, it can be hard sometimes to hit that goal, especially
100%.
without any kind of supplementation. Although you do want to get it from as many whole foods as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so getting one in early in the day is not only going to help you spread out that protein consumption, so you're not getting like 2/3 of it all at once.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also going to help, guarantee that you're going to get there by the end of the night.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I always try to preach, because everyone's, when you're training, you're on a high protein diet, of course. Say I have to have 180 grams of protein roughly per day. Getting that all from whole foods is possible, but is it efficient given my lifestyle? Not at all. So having that extra boost of say 25, 30 grams in the morning of high quality protein powder is really helpful to make sure that I hit it by the end of the night.
On an average day, would you say you supplement one time throughout the day, and then the rest you're getting from Whole Foods, or what is the average for Lance Parker?
Yeah, so usually I'll have the scoop of protein in the morning, and something that I really like to do is I like to make protein oats. So my pre-workout meal always consists, 90% of the time of protein oats. I take 2 of the Quaker instant oat packs, pour those in a bowl, add a little bit of milk, microwave it, and then I add a whole scoop of protein powder in it. Usually I like to go like chocolate or peanut butter, or better yet, chocolate peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, no.
I do the same thing. I do usually like a cup, which is a little more than 2 instant oatmeal packs. But I usually do a cup of oatmeal, mix it with... I like to do sometimes I do regular peanut butter, but another way I like to get my extra protein in supplementally wise is PB Fit. You ever use that
PB Fit,
stuff?
the powder stuff, right?
It's good. Mm-hmm. It's real good. And any idea off the top of your head how many grams protein per serving? I'm not entirely
Probably
confident.
like 12. I'm pretty sure it's
definitely
12. It's
lower
lower
than a
fat.
protein shake.
Yeah.
Lower fat than regular peanut butter, and then I'll also throw in maybe a splash of milk and honey. I like honey in there.
Honey,
A
yeah,
little bit of
100%.
honey, just to sweeten it up.
Love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. How much do you weigh?
I weigh about 169 pounds right now.
So Lance weighs 169. He's on a cutting phase right now. And he mentioned earlier that he tries to get 180 grams of protein per day. Now, why is that, Lance? Is there a certain formula you're following there, mathematical equation, reason for that?
Yeah, so usually I like to shoot per 1 gram per pound of body weight, and obviously I have dropped. So 180 is more on like the upper end. So I'd like to increase my protein a little bit higher when I'm on a cut, just because when you're cutting, you want to make sure the protein's up, because your main goal is going to be to maintain muscle. You're not going to be really building any muscle at all on a cut. It's all
hopefully you can maintain it all.
Yeah, hopefully you can maintain,
which can be real
all the
hard.
muscle. And yeah, so you want to be a little bit, sometimes like 1 pound per gram, or 1 gram per pound of body weight is like the standard. That's what I usually recommend everyone. And of course it varies depending on how much you weigh and how much lean body mass you have. Say like, I'm not going to tell like a 250 pound obese person, aim for 250 grams per day. Like they can aim from anywhere from like 170 to say 190 grams.
As long as you're consistently getting within, 10 grams. If you're falling short of 10 grams regularly, I would try to just bump that up.
100%.
10 grams may not even make that big of a difference, but it's really a mental thing. You want to, because you let it slip a couple grams, then a couple more grams the next week, and before you know it, if you're not tracking those calories, you have no idea what you're actually consuming. So yeah, 1 gram per pound of body weight is generally a really easy rule of thumb to follow. There's been additional research that recommends 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, but another really great thing about protein is that it is very filling. Satiety. So it's going to help keep you fuller longer, especially if you're getting it from whole foods, like actual meats.
And it takes longer to digest compared to fats and carbs.
That's what we said. You want to try to get it as much as you can from whole natural foods.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so we're talking beef or steak.
Beef, steak, chicken, tuna, salmon. Okay. So many.
And they all have a really reasonably high protein content, but I think that chicken actually has the highest protein content per ounce, and I think it's 3 ounces is like 21 grams.
And it's the leanest as well.
And it is the leanest. Okay, so
very lean.
Less fat than any other. The second highest, I believe, is red meat. So we're talking beef and steak. I think that's closer to 19 grams. Don't quote me on that, but they're all really close, right? And then salmon falls just under that, and also has a lot of your healthy omega-3 fatty fats. So important for heart health and stuff like that. If you're not taking a fish oil supplement as well, you should be trying to get at least 3 servings of some kind of seafood in every week. Let's talk supplementation, right? So what's one of your favorite protein powders out there?
So one of the protein powders that I like the most is Alanine. I'm currently also affiliated with them. So I really do enjoy Alanine. I really appreciate that they're transparent on their label. They tell you everything that's in the protein powder. So I used to take protein powder that would say would have essentially proprietary blends. With a proprietary blend, it's going to give you the grams of everything that they put in, but it won't tell you the exact dosages of what the ingredients are. With Alanine,
it could be 75% of one, 25% of the other.
Yeah, exactly. It could be 5 grams of this blend that mixes all these different, say, amino acids or whatever, but you don't know the exact amount. With Alanine, they show everything on their label, and it's just a higher quality protein that I really do enjoy.
Okay. And again, actually, Lance is affiliated with Alanine.
Code Lance, 10%
plug
off.
There. Yeah, say it again.
Code Lance, 10% off.
Okay. The Fence itself is not affiliated. I have tried one of their pre-workouts before, which I do remember enjoying.
It's the taste for me. I really love their peanut butter powder. Protein powder is so good. It tastes like Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah. Well, so when it comes down to it, guys, when you're looking for a protein supplement, a lot of people are going to say, oh, the most important thing is the amount of protein per serving in there, right? And they're going to say, there's other things you could look at too. And, you want it to be low sugar, this, that, and a third. In the end, the most important thing is that you enjoy the taste. Because if you think it tastes like crap, you're not going to keep drinking it. So you got to just shop around. Find one that works for you. And if you're new to the supplement world, it can be a lot harder. When you haven't been drinking it for years. Yeah, it's been very hard to convince some people to do it because they're the same people that have to hold their nose when they swallow their medicine or whatever, I assume. But so one brand that I really like out there that works great and is also clean is Gold Standard by
Optimum Nutrition.
Optimum Nutrition.
Yeah, or Optimum Performance.
I think
they're solid and they're also pretty cheap.
Reasonably priced. You can get them at any GNC or
Walmart.
Vitamin Shop, Walmart, and online. Amazon probably doesn't have the cheapest, actually. They claim to have the cheapest stuff, but they don't.
First Form I've heard so many good things about.
It's so delicious. They have so many incredible flavors, and they have all kinds of different products, pre-workouts. They have fat burners, and then one of my favorite things is I think it's called the Formula One. It's like a pre-workout supplement, but it's not caffeine related. It's actually essentially if you know what the glycemic index is, it's essentially a carbohydrate to help fuel your workout. It's like if you ate 2 bananas or 2 apples right before your workout. And then you also have the vegan option.
And you got casein as well.
Casein. Tell us about casein.
So casein's a slower digesting protein. So what a lot of people like to do is before they go to bed, and I'm pretty sure there's conflicting research that says doesn't really matter if you have a slower digesting protein such as like cottage cheese or casein before bed. It's not really that much of a difference. As long as you're getting your...
As far as your body absorbs it?
Yeah, I mean, it absorbs it differently, but as long as you're getting your total protein amount within the day, that's all that really matters. So some people, they don't respond very well to whey protein.
It can be harsh on the gut.
It can be a little bit harsher on the gut. Me personally, I don't have that problem, but my brother, for example, isn't very good with whey protein because it's, it comes from lactose, it's a dairy source, and some people just simply can't digest that very well. Now, when it comes to like, say, casein or especially vegan, a lot of people have better digestion.
It's a lot easier on the gut. I always usually casein. I don't have a ton of experience with, although I'm assuming that's probably the protein. I've seen nighttime proteins that if you're real serious about your protein regimen, you're taking it before bed so that your body slowly digests it. I've also had this weird problem, and I've seen research on it. I don't know anybody else that's had it, but I used to drink protein shakes really late at night, and it would affect my sleep. And apparently, when your body's trying to digest that protein, it actually messes with your serotonin release, apparently. And so it'll stop a lot of the hormones that you need to get a good night's rest.
Yeah, I also heard it messes with your entire circadian rhythm. So what I usually try to do is my last meal is about 2 to 3 hours before bed. And I'll usually have my last meal including a slow digesting protein. So I'll usually have 2 rice cakes with some cottage cheese on it, like 150 grams, and then some blueberries along with it. And that fills me up, honestly, and it's really satisfying. Because if you're having something like really sugary before bed, your insulin levels are going to spike, and then they're going to fall back down, and then you're going to be hungry. I cannot go to bed hungry.
No, me neither.
I literally need to be satisfied.
100%. So vegan proteins are another option. Although, last point on this topic is that vegan proteins can oftentimes be hard to palate, if you will.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder to make them taste
thing.
great. Yeah, so you're gonna have to shop around for that.
When you're looking for protein, find the price, quality, and the convenience of the protein as well. Those are my big 3 things.
Price, quality, and convenience. And bars are not a bad option. All the brands we recommended also have bars. They're a great quick grab and go option. Last thing I'm going to throw in there, Fairlife protein shakes.
Oh, yes.
I can't vouch to the level of sugar in there. I don't think it's high.
It's not very high.
Flavor's
it's like 7
great.
grams.
And they have it's usually 30 grams for them, and then they also have what's the other one? They have like a plus version. Which is
they have like
grams.
the core power.
Core power. There we go. Yeah. And they're delicious, and they're also a great grab and go option to keep in the fridge. Because, like you said, convenience is paramount, and if you don't have time to mix a shake, it's going to be a really easy way to fall off your protein intake goal. So make sure you have multiple options. I would say laying around the house. Topic number 2. I would love to talk about creatine. Creatine.
Absolutely love creatine.
So creatine, what is it good for?
So creatine is essentially the most well-studied supplement.
Most not FDA approved, but most scientifically backed research.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And tons of benefits. Let's take turns naming them.
Increased power output in the gym.
Increased muscle size.
Increased stamina.
Cognitive function, improved cognitive function. It actually helps with things like preventing Alzheimer's and amongst other cognitive diseases. Did you know that one? That's crazy, isn't it?
I did hear about that.
It's crazy.
It's insane how that works. It also helps with very, very short distance sprints.
So I like to mix it actually with my pre-workout. I'll either do it, with my pre-workout and sip it slowly as I get into it, or I'll even mix it if I'm drinking like an amino acid or just water, and I'll sip on it during my workout. And I noticed it really does help. It's better, especially if you mix it with amino acids. And I know amino acids is kind of
redundant. It can be redundant if you're already getting them in.
Especially if you're getting a lot of meat and stuff in your diet. I'm not going to say don't drink it, but don't go throwing a whole bunch of money and think that it's going to change. We're not covering amino acids today for a reason.
And I also want to emphasize that you can take it pretty much whenever during the day.
Yeah, 100%.
As long as you're getting it in. Like, for example, Mitch likes to take it pre-workout. I like to sip on it right before bed. It does not matter.
It does not matter.
As long as you get it in. And creatine's a saturation supplement. So you need to take it for a pretty good amount of time before you start to see the benefits. And that time can vary depending on different things. And that leads us into a loading phase.
Well, yes. Well, it's going to vary on things like how frequently you're taking it, dosage, and also there's multiple different kinds of creatine out there. Now, I would say micronized creatine for is good for everybody. It's a very cost efficient option and is readily available. And
creatine monohydrate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what you got to get.
Yep. There's also HCl.
HCl, yeah, but
Have you ever tried it?
I haven't tried HCl creatine. I've
Very
been on
expensive compared to I keep saying micronized creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, creatine monohydrate
Yep.
is the one that you want to aim for.
Yep. But creatine HCl, arguably, there's been studies done. This could be a controversial topic, but arguably, it just is a little better than
A little better.
I don't know how much. I don't know if it's worth that extra price bump or not. But I do have people around me who have personally vouched for the difference, and it could vary by person. But I have heard from reliable sources who have tried lots of supplements and have spent many years in the gym that they did see a lot of gains with with the HCl as opposed to creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a lot of experimentation, like finding what's right about your body. Like we can recommend creatine monohydrate over HCl or HCl over monohydrate, but what matters is like experiment, try different things. This relates to protein powder as well. Try it, and if it works for you, take that.
Very interesting key factor about creatine HCl is the taste.
The taste.
The taste.
What's it taste like?
It is not anything like creatine monohydrate. So I tried mixing my wife's HCl in with my protein one time.
Okay.
And I thought that the protein had gone bad because creatine HCl has a very distinct tart flavor.
Does it?
Like almost like fresh squeezed lemon juice, just a little less lemony, extremely bitter. And so tasting that with my chocolate peanut butter, gold standard, protein, I was like, now listen, we are not going to go say we're not doctors.
Yeah.
And ultimately you should talk to your doctor before taking a supplement
100%.
and then take their opinion and take it to a registered dietitian and get their opinion on it.
I agree.
Because doctors also don't know what exercises are best for you. Anybody postpartum just had a baby, they're going to ask, "Oh, doc, what can I do?" And they're going to say, "Well, just listen to your body," because they don't know. They're not a physical therapist. They're not a personal trainer. There's obviously a tier that you need to follow. Doctor, physical therapist, and then you got your personal trainer and nutritionist.
Maybe they're not caught up in that specific field of study.
Sure, and it's not his fault, but that's not his specialty.
I started taking creatine when I was 18 years old. So a lot of the younger guys that I knew in high school, they'll come up to me and they're under 18 and they'll say, "Should I be taking creatine?" So if you're a younger guy, wait till you're 18. I'm going to say that right now because all the studies are done on people that are over 18.
Sure.
And I would always get mad at my parents because they're like, nah, you're not going to take creatine. I'm like, why? Like, I want to get bigger. I'm like, when you're younger, especially like if you're under 7 or under 18, you don't got to be worrying about the supplements and all these pre-workouts, especially like don't get addicted to caffeine when you're younger.
Let's just circle back on all these 3 supplements we're recommending today. We do recommend you follow the serving size, especially on pre-workout.
Oh, 100%.
Especially on the pre-workout. Don't go double scooping and
go
triple scooping. We're going to go to the next. Yeah.
But I do want to talk one more thing about creatine. When you're on creatine, obviously, it's going to help your muscles retain water. Definitely bump up your water intake.
Absolutely.
Definitely, because a lot of people are on creatine and they're dehydrated.
You're not going to see nearly the gains you can. You could gain so much muscle size and, like we said, the strength and the stamina and the cognitive function, and all this, that, and the third.
And a lot of people actually don't respond to creatine. So I've had people. So a good way to tell if you respond to creatine is if you do a loading phase. So the loading phase can last like a week where you take, say, like 15 to 20 grams per day, but you really got to like start drinking your water too. You can see progress quick like that. I personally didn't do a loading phase. I just took 5 grams per day for about a month, and that's when I started seeing progress. So you start to see progress when, obviously your lifts go up. I started benching 225. I started repping that. And also my weight went up by 5 pounds.
And I would say that's the number one indicator that you are the creatine, you are responding to the creatine, because let's be real too, a month of time, you're also going to see strength gains naturally without any supplementation. All right. That takes us into supplement number 3.
Pre-workout. So there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot. And again, we don't claim to be a nutritionist or
scientists.
Dietitian's going to hear this and they're going to be like, wow, they should have had me as a guest on the show. I could have said so much more. And you know what? We invite you to reach out. We actually have a form on our link tree because we are looking for guests, qualified guests who can bring value to the table and help educate our growing audience. Pre-workout, number 1 ingredient, caffeine. Okay, so honestly, coffee makes an incredible pre-workout.
Yeah.
And I find that my body reacts to coffee so much better when I'm active when I'm drinking it. There's been times when I've drank, many times, when I drink my coffee, hoping for that energy boost, and maybe I didn't have enough, or maybe I didn't get enough sleep, right? I'm a little low. And if anything, I feel worse than I did before. But every single time that I was taking a nice brisk walk or using it during or right before an exercise.
And I don't think people understand, like, there's different types of caffeine. There's caffeine that gives you that quick rush, such as, like, most coffees will do that. That'll give you that quick rush, and then you kind of crash fast. But there's other caffeine, such as, like, say you drink green tea. Green tea gives you that nice boost, but it's a soft boost.
You do want to be careful with your dosages. There's also a lot of studies emerging. What types of caffeine were these people consuming? How controlled was it? Was it just caffeine across the board, or did they have all of these high level Celsius and Red Bull and Monster involved in these studies, right? So how controlled was it, right? So we're talking in Starbucks drinks, right? Frappuccino. So we're talking sugar, we're talking fat, we're talking tons of other supplements and what am I looking for? Stimulants that could be having an effect in this too. But as a rule of thumb, 400
right? milligrams.
400 milligrams.
And some people won't even get to that point. Like, some people cannot respond well to caffeine at all.
Sure, yeah, I know.
Simply a cup of coffee will get them, like, jumping off the walls,
My
jittering.
wife. My wife gets, like, angry.
Yeah, no, people get angry.
She's like, ugh!
For me, I literally just get so hyped up, and I feel great during my workout. So let's talk about things that you look for in a pre-workout.
So things you look for in a pre-workout.
What's the top 3 things?
Well, you wanna obviously pay attention to that caffeine level.
Caffeine level, yes.
You need to know your body and what they are. And any pre-workout that you're just starting out for the first time, if you're a beginner, I recommend starting with like half scoops.
Oh, half scoop, 100%.
Half scoop. Don't do the full serving, because some of this stuff, especially if they have other stimulants in there, are gonna jack you up. Number 2.
Gotta make sure that you're getting quality.
Yes, quality over quantity always, especially when it comes to supplementation. About artificial sweeteners.
Okay, so
because artificial sweeteners are going to greatly affect the way your taste buds work, and when you're drinking consistently artificial sweeteners, your threshold, if you will, of your taste buds is going to be much higher. If there's very high levels in your pre-workouts, then it could be setting you up for failure. You don't even know it, because you're like, oh, I'm eating or drinking an artificial sweetener, but it's conditioning your taste buds. And now that apple that used to taste good to you, you're like, what the heck? I need a freaking glazed donut now.
And like, say for diet Dr. Pepper has been my thing, for example. Like, when I get a taste of that, like, I'm like, oh my God, I need another one. And once you start like changing your palate, you start to enjoy, like, once you get those sweet things out of there, you really enjoy. But I love blueberries. Blueberries are like candy.
Yeah, but it's like weaning yourself off of a drug.
Oh yeah.
I believe I've shaken before, like when I've been on kind of extreme diets or transitioning away from something that I used to do very normally. So there's another thing out there. It's called beta-alanine.
Beta-alanine, from my understanding, is like a buffer for lactic acid, and it's actually pretty similar to creatine, as it's a saturation supplement. So you need to consistently take it for a good amount of time for it to finally be having effects on you. So you're saying
the same applies to beta-alanine.
Yeah, and some people will just scoop beta-alanine, and it's honestly like it's better for more endurance in the gym. So you know how creatine's more for power output.
Sure.
If you're like a bike rider, and like of course we promote all sorts of fitness, beta-alanine can be super effective for you to pump out like say like extra 1 second. L-citrulline. L-citrulline is a vasodilator, and it essentially helps you. The blood gets to your muscles and it gives you a nasty pump. I absolutely love having a nasty pump in the gym.
It's a beautiful thing. And for anybody that hasn't experienced that pump yet, that's okay. And it might sound scary. We have lots of experience in the gym. And personally, I do all kinds of different fitness. I love cardio, all kinds of different stuff. But when you experience that pump for the first time, or you start to begin to experience that pump, which is essentially just a bunch of blood pumped into the muscles that you're targeting, it feels good. And there's a really, really cool video of Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of explaining what it feels like.
It's the pump.
The pump. It feels like sex.
Can't talk about sex on the podcast.
You can talk about sex on the podcast.
Oh.
You just can't curse while you're talking about sex.
It does feel like sex. Perhaps better.
That's what Arnold says. Any other deal breakers for you as far as pre-workouts go?
Proprietary blends.
Again,
like if you're blending a bunch of ingredients, say like it has
I haven't seen that as commonly in pre-workouts, but you definitely don't want to see that because you need to know what's in there because a lot of pre-workouts too.
Underdosed.
So we talked like 4 ingredients in our pre-workouts. When you go and look at the pre-workouts, there's going to be there's like L-theanine.
L-theanine, yes.
We already talked about L-citrulline. And different ones are going to be have different levels, but a lot of them have a lot of stimulants in them these days. So just make sure you know what you're putting in your body. There's also some really great ones. There's a beetroot based one.
Beetroot, I have had that before.
What's it called? Beet Plus?
And that was actually my first pre-workout.
I think that has beta-alanine in it.
Yeah, so that was
the
first.
Second version of it does.
That was the first pre-workout I've ever had. I got it, right down in the one VSN Nutrition's in Newtown.
My first was C4.
Yeah, and I took that and I instantly got tunnel vision.
It's got lion's mane in it.
Lion's mane is amazing.
Got caffeine.
Yep.
Lion's mane is amazing. That's a mushroom. Helps with focus and also cognitive function. But that product is very, very clean. There's like no sugars or sweeteners in it. It is very bitter. It's very unique
bitter.
Taste,
oh, I hated the taste.
And it'll leave a little stain on your tongue. So then you got that. And you could also make your own pre-workout. You could go and buy each individual ingredient that you want if you want to do your own homework. And you could build your own.
You can build your
and
own
keep it as clean or whatever, as you want.
Water's a good pre-workout as well. Literally, pre-workout is just something that you have pre-workout. There's pre-workout nutrition.
Lastly, I'm going to say a great pre-workout addition is something high on the glycemic index. I like lots of fruits. You could do anything you want as long as it fits with whatever your goals are. But I love apples. I love bananas. Those are high on the glycemic index. I believe beets are really high on the glycemic index. The glycemic index is essentially a list of foods where it tells you how fast your body digests the food and then essentially releases it into your bloodstream for energy. You only have a limited amount of energy stored in your body, and you're gonna work through that really quickly. So eating some carbohydrates that are high on the glycemic index will do for you is essentially fuel your body, and it'll be there ready for you as soon as your stored energy is gone. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again, Lance, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hope you enjoyed yourself. And also, don't forget, we rely on you guys. You are the only people out there listening to us. Okay, so any of our listeners, anybody viewing this on YouTube, if there's something you'd like to hear us deep dive into, you can do this by shooting us a DM, commenting on any of our posts on socials or YouTube, or even shooting me a personal email at mitchellblack@gmail.com. Our socials are Instagram @thefence_podcast, YouTube @thefencepodcast, and wherever you listen to podcasts, you can simply find us at The Fence.
You can find me at Lance Parker on Instagram, 2 E's and 2 R's at the end.